Right, because Housewives of Atlanta is back with the season 17, episode 2, Rumors and Raised Eyebrows. Ooh, I think K. Michelle might got the best tagline, and she goes last. And we start off with a little bit of Phaedra, okay? We do peep at Drew and Angela for like a little hot second, talking about some type of movie premiere, but I'm sure we'll get to that sometime later. But Phaedra driving around with Aiden. Remember little Aiden? Like we say, literally, we watched him grow up. We was here right when he was born, basically. But now he's driving around, driving his mom around, and she said he is Apollo's designated driver. Ain't that something? So, do y'all think we're gonna see Apollo pop up here maybe once or twice? I don't know. I'm just, you guys think? So, the next scene to start the show will be Portia, K. Michelle, and Kelly going to have tea at a little tea spot. I need to try out one of those one day. But anywho, rehashing the party. Portia party was all good and stuff. Like K. Michelle had so much fun, she done left with a wig off. Okay. Um, you know, Kelly and well before that, K. Michelle let them know that she got a event coming up real big with the Country Music Awards. She's doing, I think she's presenting in honors to, I forget the name of a African American lady who is in country music. I guess over the years or something like that. So I don't listen to country music, so I do not know nothing about it. But in that realm of country music is very big, a big deal. So for her trying to break into that genre and things like that is something real huge, obviously, for her as well, because, you got to pay your dues and pay honors and respect to those, before you. I'm not sure if she's going to invite any of the ladies to this event. She didn't mention any invites, but, we'll see. Then Portia and Kelly gets into, their relationship because they never really had one to begin with. So it's like, well, we never really got to know each other, but how did we just not like each other? Like, you know what I'm saying? And, I think we all know what it is. It's Shamia. Once Kelly got to know Shamia first, um, that's when I think she started throwing the shade towards Portia. And Portia gives her an example to say, yeah, you know, you did an interview, the after show stuff. I never even watched the after shows like that. Um, but they do give you a little bit of extra insight on whatever happened on episode. And Kelly mentioned that, oh, well, P need to stop messing around with married men. So Portia, obviously like, girl, what is you shading me for about sleeping with married men and who's and what, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Because technically it'll only be Simon, right? I don't think it was anybody else in the blogs that we've heard of or, whoop, whoop. But she gonna flip it on Kelly and say, but I mean, you sleep with married men, or and you have, before. And Kelly's like, what? And I'm like, what? Because how you gonna tell me what I did and didn't do in a bedroom or wherever it was? Because it don't gotta be that, but I'm just saying, right? Yeah, so Kelly is asking her for the receipts, like, okay, so who was it and when, where, and why? And Portia tells her, I guess it happened around the BET Awards or something. They put up the timestamps, which would be 2 months ago from whenever they filmed this episode. And we know that BET Awards is in June, okay? So we'll say, what was it, June, July, August. So they probably filmed about August or September or something like that. Okay, anyway. But, um, yeah, her receipts is, I guessing she was on the phone with Dennis or on a friend who know Dennis, and basically they was trying to say, oh, well, I just hooked up with Kelly or something, and he went back home to his wife. I don't know, something to that nature. How she tried to explain it. I'm looking like how K. Michelle was looking, which was, girl, what and who, where, why. So this you saying all of this stuff for what? For why? Obviously, she's just trying to get back at Kelly just to say, well, if you want to say things about me, well, I can say stuff about you as well. And Kelly like, well, I mean, fine, but let's say stuff that's true because that's something that's really not true. And of course, Portia, whatever, whatever, if it's true or not true, I heard it, so that's, I can say it, right? Okay, fine. They, I guess, agree to disagree, and we just move on. I guess we so-called hug it out. Like, I don't know. It was a dumb argument. I'm there, so I'm like, hey, Michelle, yeah, she's like, is this what I got to look forward to? Yes, you do. This is exactly what you got to look forward to. A whole bunch of nothing until it come to you, and then that's when we have a problem. So, you know what I'm saying? It is a bunch of nothing when it come to everybody else, but when it hits you, now we got a problem. So we get to know Miss Pinky Cole a little bit better. She has, so her and her husband got 3 kids together, but he got 2 older ones, so it's like 5. So it's a little Brady Bunch situation, but not too much that they can't handle, right? Her mother Jamaican, okay, so I didn't know that Jamaican. So she, we all know how that goes. Um, she explains a little bit more with her business because we know she got the Slutty Vegan is the brand, is the restaurant. And I don't, never really follow her. I actually never even ate the food. I don't know. Do we got one here? I gotta look it up. We probably don't have one here where I'm at. But either way, she, grew this business. It was great, everything, woo woo woo. But then somewhere along the way, it had, it kind of, we'll say, crashed to where, now she had to sell it, but then she ended up buying it back. And now she's just rebuilding and, rebranding, whoop, whoop, whoop. And like I said, we kind of know what's going on currently. Things is probably still a little bit more on the downside. But either way, Mr. Husband, which I got to remember his name, he got his own restaurant thing going on over there, which is some cheesesteaks, she said. Big Dave's cheesesteaks, which I say, I don't think we got one over here. I don't know. I look it up. But his business is actually doing fine. Okay. So I guess when it comes to their relationship, they're working on it, working through it. But they know, obviously, the ups and downs with the businesses. It seems as they kind of found they wouldn't say they found a well balanced way to handle things, but they doing all right, even though they, what I'm saying, to where they know exactly what each other needs. It's just the part of really giving it, right, to where is he enough support for her, is she enough support for him, vice versa, and things like that. So, but it do sound like everything should be just fine, though. So they look like they figured out something that works for them. And, like she said, a lot of marriages go through divorce and divorce, but at least for them, it's not on the table. So it actually looks like K Michelle is gonna move to Georgia full time. Her and Caston was purchasing this little house, like a little lake house somewhere. So it was cute. She need a little country space for a country girl, right? And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Her buying a house. Nothing was to it. Besides explaining their relationship, obviously it is not conventional because they known each other for years, broke up, on and off, but eventually, now they got the ring. Next will be some babies, right? She does have an older son. I think he's probably at in his 20s by now. But a little girl will be something that she always wanted. So maybe it's something she can get. So the next scene is Kelly, Angela, Shamia, and they're at a boutique store shopping for their daughters. Or okay, I'm guessing so, like little kids' clothes. But anyway, they all kind of going through, what's going on with each other, which was, okay, so Kelly, ex-dude, husband, his name was Mark. I think his name was Mark. Done did an interview with Tasha K. I'm about to look that up just to see what he was talking about, just to be a little nosy there. But obviously she's a little upset about that because why "Are you harassing me, sir?" Or, like by way of speaking on me in, a negative light. And she done called Tasha K blog a distasteful blog. And this came on with last night, so I'm sure tonight, because I think Tasha K goes live every day at 8 o'clock. I'm sure she's going to say something about it. If y'all watch, go ahead and look at it. I'll look at her a few too. I ain't watched her in a while, but anywho, Shamia trying to start mess between Drew and Angela because she's asking Angela, like, so did you talk to Drew about the whole thing, about her talking to Phaedra and this and that? And she like, yeah, I did talk to her, and we're cool, and we squashed it. So of course that kind of blew, Shamia, kind of basically stopped her in her tracks, because now you ain't got nothing else to say about it, right? Tried it, denied it. Then we move over to Kelly and the Portia thing, which, she's calling her Horsha. Portia. Listen, they're going to have beef now because obviously Portia watching this. You called me this, girl. I ain't say nothing about you and this and that. And all I said was you sleeping with people's husbands. Because, Kelly didn't like that. So now we got beef. Kelly explains that she is going to have is it a grand opening at the Waffles and Chicken? Whatever. I forget her restaurant. It's Chicken and Waffles. Waffles and something. Either way, she explains that whole lawsuit stuff, and she said, yeah, she in a little, in the little debt world, right now, just a little bit, because before she can get the restaurant open, she wasn't paying the people no rent, basically, so she had to pay all that off, plus some other things, plus, and yeah, over what, $100,000 or so, yeah. Well, I think that's what you owe, so actually add plus to that, child. Like, we can do the math in our heads. We had to spend a lot of change to get this thing up and running. But while y'all up in here shopping, hey, whatever. Did y'all buy something? Maybe not, maybe so. Either way, she's going to invite all the ladies, and, maybe Portia might have to buy her own plate for this one. It's time for Drew's movie premiere with Claudia Jordan. Hey, Claudia, we see you there. I don't know why she's not a friend of the show. She could be a friend of the show. Remember, she used to be used to have a peach at one point. But anywho, it was a couple other people back in the background. You just got to look, because it is Atlanta. You're going to see people when it comes to, some of these parties. Like, oh, hey, I saw you. But anywho, Phaedra and Angela squashed their little beef right here, okay? Because they run into each other, Angela with her fans. Woo, I see them. If she ever does drop the line, I will buy one for my mom. I buy all the little merch that the Housewives get. I'll be buying it. I don't buy it for me, though. I buy it for my mama. But, the whole thing with Phaedra trying to send people after Angela, and show up to like Kelly's party that one time, talking about, take a shot if you cheating or something, or sleeping with Angela's husband. What's his name? Charles? Something like that. And for Angela, it was like, well, let me just ask her, flat out, did you do it? She said, no, I didn't. So Angela says, okay, fine. I'll take your word for it. We can squash the little beef here, and maybe we can get to know each other, moving forward. And Phaedra was cool with that. Like, I ain't seeing nobody, so she better go figure it out, because it was not me. So I didn't even expect the girl to be on the show, but she introduces everybody to Sway, Portia. That's the new girl in her life currently, right? That's the same one. Yep. So here she is, and she just saying, listen, she's single, she can mingle, she can date whoever she wants. So if that mean boy, girl, let her do it. All right, so as we're getting more into the party, everybody's arriving. They are a little bit shocked to see Portia with Mrs. Sway. Or should we call her Miss Sway? Because we don't know if she what pronouns, everybody's using these days. But anyway, Drew she, obviously can't give too much side eye because we didn't know if he was messing around with Ty or not. He never confirmed nor denied that. And neither did she, or did she? When she was on Basketball Wives, remember she said that she was talking to Drew a little bit, something like that. But anywho, um, Angela decides that I guess she's gonna be the bone carrier on this episode, or maybe moving forward. I don't know, but on this episode for sure, trying to tell Phaedra. Well, Kelly told me that Portia said that she be sleeping with married men. And Portia just happened to walk up and she's like, yeah, this is what Kelly has said. And she's like, oh, well, I mean, well, if she said it, I mean, she's telling herself, I guess. So, of course, Angela had to tell her everything and let her know that Kelly called her Portia. So now it's names calling. And the Kelly ain't even here yet. Or Shamia. Are they invited? I think everybody was invited. They just gonna be late. So is Drew movie on Tubi or something? Because I don't even watch Tubi movies at all. And I'm not going to watch it. Yeah, so Portia basically tell Angela that she probably won't show up to the Chicken and Waffles opening only because when her and Kelly had the conversation at the tea party, they had squashed the beef is what she thought. So if she's bringing it back up again to Angela and to me and stuff, then it's like, girl, you bringing it back up, so you still mad when I thought it was over. So I probably won't show up. So K Michelle is not in attendance to the waffle restaurant opening. I forget the name. I know it's like Chicken and Waffles. Nana's Chicken and Waffles. But either way, she is at that, the country music thing. So the girls obviously wasn't invited because they had this event to go to. So that's why Kay not here. Extra points for anybody who could remember who had on the same dress that Shamia has on right now. The green with the black polka dots and the fringe at the bottom. Somebody else wore this, but I just don't know who. So Portia does not show up like she says she wouldn't, but she does send a bouquet of roses with a little note that says, like, congratulations, Kelly. P.S. We need to talk. Love, Portia. So she like, all right, well, move these. We'll talk to her later. Kelly lets all the ladies know what the note meant between her and Portia. Like, basically, the whole thing about sleeping with people, mans, and stuff like that. She's still mad about it. So, of course, they all just kind of in shock a little bit because it's like, what? Where is this coming from? Because what? But it is what it is. They'll get the full story once Portia shows up on the next scene somewhere. But even before that, Drew and Shamia did have a few little words here because, I guess for Shamia, she was trying to get Drew and maybe Phaedra and Angela to kind of explain how they all overcame their beef and came together, since they was trying to get her and Portia to explain, what's going on between them in front of the whole group. And it kind of, like I said, Shamia, everything you doing right now is backfiring. Like, everything is not landing like it's supposed to. So it didn't really go anywhere because especially with Angela, like, listen, nobody is going to get me hype about anything. You're going to talk about Charles, you're going to talk about me, whatever, and me and Drew. Boop. Zip it. We cool. You get nothing. So here Angela goes, trying to be a peacemaker. And it ain't working because she's going to call Portia on the phone, FaceTime, to say, oh, here, Kelly, here go Portia, say hi. So they say, hey, congratulations, on your restaurant. And you get them flowers. And she's like, yeah, I got them old broken ass flowers. Yeah, whatever. I don't want them. They broken somewhere. She's like, oh, for real? What happened? Well, I guess we'll have to figure it out another time. Anyway, click. So Angela like, well, I mean, I thought I was going to try to bring them together, but no, it's not going to work. It don't work that easy. I don't know why you be thinking these little, oh, well, all I got to do is this. No, and that's what about the new people, because, well, actually, Kelly knew too, because you just don't know how you gotta learn how Portia works here, and then once you figure it out, that's how you gotta learn how to play them. That's what I'm saying. But they don't know that yet. They don't know that. I was saying, speaking of dresses, Angela, I seen your dress too somewhere too. But as we are getting done with this dinner, everybody getting ready to leave, Shamia goes to Drew to say, like, congratulations on her movie and everything, and hopefully she'll be able to watch it and whoop whoop whoop, and hopefully something to the fact of, I don't know, that she won't fight her or something weird. I don't even know the words that she said, but from that we got a little back and forth because they both still mad at each other about what each other said. Okay, um, you know, Shamia's apology after the reunion last season was to everybody. But when it came to Drew, for her, it's like it was a backhanded apology because, okay, you say sorry, but you put a but on it and say, you know, I could have did more, I could have went harder and all this stuff like that. So was it really an apology or was it not? So the conversation, it was getting a little bit loud, just a tad. And mothers were here. Kelly's mom was here and Shamia's mom was here. And beautiful, beautiful ladies. Shamia, you look just like your mama. Um, Mama step in and do a little quick, oh, ladies, don't do this, God is, don't let the devil come in, that whole little spiel. And Drew was like, okay, fine, I can take that, no disrespect, because, her mother is an actual pastor. So she like, I mean, let me get my mama here and y'all can definitely go do that. But for right now, okay, cool, I hear you. We can try to level this out here, which they do. It was just more of a, listen, you can't just be trying to apologize to me but not apologize. And that's just pretty much where Drew stand on it. For Shamia, okay, fine, I just need you, to stop basically talking about her, calling her names, being Portia lapdog and all this type stuff, stirring the pot. She don't need it. So if we could get over that, then fine, we could be cool. And they hug it out for the moment because it's always only for the moment. And we can we'll rehash this another day, and hopefully then it could be a better understanding. But it's really not. I would say, listen, but it's really not, especially once Portia come back into the picture, because it's really the wedge between them would be Portia. All right, so we in the episode with K Michelle. So we flip over to Nashville. We see her doing her thing on the stage and all that stuff. But in the background, we flip to a hospital. So apparently, before she actually had to perform, she had a rip in a wound bust open. Okay. But it opened in a way to where she didn't even know it happened until she stood up, and then all the leakage happened. So they scramble to get her all fixed up so she can actually go perform. She get that done, go to the hospital. They just letting her know that yes, the wound popped back open. When you have surgeries, yeah, that spot, right? We do know the history of her and her surgeries. She had the BBL, but she went a little bit too far, and it gave her problems because that stuff started migrating into your bloodstream. Her legs and stuff wasn't working. She also got lupus, so it's just a lot of stuff wasn't happening right. So she just decided, let me get this stuff out of me. So she spent probably the last, 2026? Probably the last almost 10 years getting surgeries back to back to back to get all that stuff out as much as she can to reconstruct her behind. Okay. For most of what we see, her walking around doing everything, it looks fine, but it's sad because, it's something that she actually, do for yourself because you want to be pretty and all this stuff, big butt and all that stuff. Remember, it was all popular, right? It still is popular. But the risk, and it happens. It happened to her. So just a little sad ending almost, because poor lady had to break down and, because this is another another round of surgery that she has to go back into to help fix this problem. And it's just something she don't want to have to do, right? So it is what it is. Guess we'll get to the next episode. It's like, oh, we ain't want to end it on a sad note, but kind of sad. Hopefully, because K Michelle get through it. She been through it, and she'll be all right. But this is a decent episode. Season 17, Housewives of Atlanta. We're just the beginning, just now getting started. And we'll get to the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.